Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. My name is Matt from TurnMTG, and today we're going to be looking at how to upgrade the new Challenger decks that will be coming out on March the 26th. I've already done some gameplay of them, which I put all the decks on Magic Arena, and I put them all through their paces. There will be links to those videos below for you to go and check out if you haven't seen those already. But today we're going to be working on a $25 budget for each of the decks, and we're going to upgrade them. Now, these decks are ready to play straight out of the box. They're pretty good. You'll see from the gameplay, but potentially we want to make them a little bit stronger and make them properly competitive as much as we can just by adding a little bit of extra cash. So first of all, we're going to start off at looking at the mono red deck. Mono red deck was one of the best ones for me. Has some really cool cards in there, Torbran, Embercleave and everything like that. Was missing, some cards. It only has one Embercleave in there. So we're going to address that situation a little bit as much as we can with $25. So first of all, let's take a look at what we're going to take out. So first off, coming out is all four of the Akoum Hellhound. Nice with landfall. It's a good one drop, and don't get me wrong, but with the basic lands that we're going to have in there, there's no Fable Passages or anything like that, and upgrading that to the deck would take up the majority of the $25. So taking out Akoum Hellhound and replacing it seems like a pretty good option to me. We do have quite a bit of removal in there, but Royal Eruption is nice, but it's sorcery speed, 3 damage to target spell, and the kicker is expensive. 7 mana to do 5 damage. We want to be winning quicker before we get to 7 mana. So Royal Eruption, all 4 taken out. So the next one we're taking out a couple of shocks. So just 2 of them, because we've got Spikefield Hazards in there. We've got, cards that can do damage as well, like Bonecrusher Giant that has the stomp effect on it as well. So I feel like we can drop a couple of shocks as well. The other 2 that we're taking out is from the Sideboard, which is just a couple of red melee. It has 4 in there. We don't need 4. We're going to have 2 in there and replace that as well. So the total upgrade for this deck is going to be $23.20. It's, like I said, $25 or under, and you're going to, increase the power level to these decks, I find, by doing this. Like I said, the first one we took out was Akoum, and we're replacing it with 4 Fireblade Charger. This little 1/1 for 1 Goblin Warrior is pretty cool. Now, we're not, if it has, if it's equipped an Embercleave on it, it has haste. We don't have to worry about that. But when it dies, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. So we can actually, do damage with this. It goes down as a nice 1/1, and I feel like, it's just a better card than Akoum because we're not really a landfall deck and we're not going to be adding in, Fable Passages and stuff like that into lands because it's just too expensive. They're around, I think, $8 or $9 each, and, we've got better cards that we potentially need to come into the deck. We're also adding in a couple of Phoenix of Ash. This works, well in the mono red deck. It's got haste, it's flying, so it has evasion. It's a 2/2. These are very cheap as well, $1. I mean, it's just absolutely brilliant to get 2 of these in your deck. It can be pumped up. It has fire in, so you can make it +2/+0 by paying 3 mana. It also has recursion. It's got the escape mechanic, so you can exile 3 cards from your graveyard, bring this back with a 1/1 counter. So it's actually going to be very good against decks like Rogues and Mill and stuff like that, because you'll be able to bring Phoenix of Ash back. I think it said Phoenix of the Ash. We were talking in the last video about me just making up names of cards and someone loved it, so big shout out to you. The other one we're adding in it's in the sideboard as well, but I want 2 Relic Robber in the main deck because we need a bit more action on the ground. And this, I found, is very hard to play against. When I've played against Relic Robber, it's really good. Now, it's 3 mana, has haste, and come down attack straight away. When it deals combat damage to a player, they get a 0/1 colourless construct token that can't block and does 1 damage to their opponent. This just seems like an absolute win side. If we can get through with a couple of attacks and give your opponents a couple of those goblins taking 2 damage a turn, they're going to have to use their removal on that creature to get rid of it, so potentially they don't kill themselves. Now, the main money for the deck, and this is $20 because they're around $10 each, we're adding in another 2 Embercleave because Embercleave is just, it's an outstanding card. It is the best card in the deck without a doubt. You come with 1, so we're going to add the majority of the money in there for $20 for 2 more of these. We've already got Torbran's in there, so we've got them as well. We've got, everything else that makes a deck well. We just need this extra bit of, magic that comes in. It comes in at instant speed. It's absolutely brilliant. It's got flash, and it just wins games games all by itself, and people will honestly play around Embercleave as well, which is why it's an expensive card and probably why I only got one in the deck. Now, you know, I feel like this is better adding in than Fabled Passages and stuff like that, because Embercleave will win your game. Fabled Passages potentially won't. They might if you need that extra land, but what I'm saying is Embercleave is a hell of a winner, and yeah, that's definitely going to be added into the upgrade. Little change in the sideboard, like I said, a couple of red melees out, and I'm added in Fire Prophecy, just as an, you know, a different kind of removal, 3 damage to target creature, and it has that potential to have a bit of card draw as well. You may put a card from your hand on the bottom of your library, and then if you do, draw a card. So comes in, we got rid of Royal Eruption, and this is a card that can just come in and obviously do damage and then potentially draw a card for us. So the main changes here are on the red deck is that I've added a bit more creatures, bit more aggro. I feel like it was missing a little bit, and you know, adding that extra power of the Embercleave, which is what I think really makes the deck strong. So the next deck we're looking at here is the blue-white control deck. Now I've made $24.60 worth of changes in this one, so still change from $25. And first of all, we're going to have a look at the cards that we're taking out. We're taking out some of the card draw, because we have good card draw in there, and I feel like some of it we were missing, and I don't really want to be discarding cards. So Thirst for Meaning, although a very good card, I don't want to be discarding some of the enchantments, so we're going to take 3 of them out straight away. 1 Neutralize is going to be dropped, and we're also going to take out 2 of the Skyclave Clerics that were in there as well, because I feel like we're going to have enough lands, and they're nice. They gain a little bit of life, but not really what I want in the deck. A couple of Banishing Light are going out as well, because I feel that's more of a sideboard card, and taking out 1 Birth of Meletis, because I've added in a couple more of enchantments to help us out with the Archon of Sun's Grace. Also taking out a couple of planes because I'm going to upgrade the lands, and going to take out 1 island as well. So let's look at what I'm going to add in. Now, we took out a Neutralize, but I'm going to add in another Saw It Coming. I think that's really good. 50 cents, very cheap, and has Foretell. I do like that ability to play it on turn 2 and then put it to the side and maybe use it as a later. I like that. I mean, Neutralize is nice because it does have cycling, but I like, mixing it up a little bit. Also adding in a really, really cool card in Raiden. Raiden is really, really cool. I've come across it and I felt like it was, it's quite a hard card to play against. So a lot of people are playing Snow, Raiden, God of the Worthy. It's just good. It's got Flying, Vigilance, 2/3, so Snowlands come in tapped. But the important thing is the non-creature spells your opponent casts with coveted mana cost 4 or greater cost 2 more to cast. So it's going to really annoy those ultimatum decks because they need to play it on curve, and then all of a sudden they've got to pay an extra 2 mana for it. Sounds absolutely brilliant to me. And if you get the Protector Shield down, it sort of helps. Blue-white control is really hoping for the long game, and this will prevent some damage and help you along this way. So I feel like, adding 2 of them into the main is going to be, pretty nice. So the next addition is going to be a couple of the Raven's Warning. This enchantment Saga is cool, so it's an enchantment as well, so it works well with our Archon. So you can create a 1/1 bird, nice. Gain 2 life as well, which is really cool. This is like a turn 3 play. Whenever 1 more creature you control with flying deal combat damage, you get to look at target player's hand, draw a card. So potentially we might be able to get a cheeky little attack in, draw a card, look at the hand as well. And then we may put a card we own from outside the game on top of our library. So we can go and get whatever we may need or think we may need after seeing what we're playing against, which I feel this is a really, really cool card. And it's a lot harder to sort of deal with being an enchantment as well. So it's got that tiny little bit of evasion as well. Adding in an extra Doomscar because it's just absolutely epic removal. And I'd rather have that in there because there's a lot of creature-based, decks out there, a lot of aggro. Also adding in the most expensive card we're adding into the deck is an extra Shark Typhoon, because why wouldn't you? It comes with 1. It's a bit like the Embercleave, expensive card in the deck. Shark Typhoon is the blue-white control one. So let's add another one in. It's around $11.50. It's a nice addition, and it really does help win games. You can either put in there as the big flyer, or we've got enough spells to actually make loads and loads of flying sharks. Next addition to Omen of the Sun, because if you remember, we took out a couple of enchantments, so we're going to add in this. Gains life, gives blockers, triggers with Archon as well. Simple addition for that, and it's really cheap as well. Like I think they're about 20 cents each. Now, going to the land, we're upgrading the land a little bit. We took out the 2 plains and the 1 island. We're adding in a couple of Castle Ardenvale. Makes blockers good for blue-white control. Getting those, potentially having some creatures. And it can be a late game finisher as well. If you've got nothing else going on, just keep making them at the end of turn and then just, get your attacks up or get your defense up. And we're also adding Castle Embereth as well, because scrying is cool and blue loves to scry, and that will help us go through our deck. So I think the blue-white control deck was very nice as it was, but I think with these additions, it can just make it stronger. You're adding in some nice cards like Raydan and obviously the other Shark Typhoon as well. And I think, this will make the deck definitely more compatible and definitely make it more competitive. Next up is DIMIR Rogues. DIMIR Rogues was a very good deck straight out of the box, like all of these to be honest though. The upgrades we're doing is $24.80, so still under. Getting some change. Taking out Vantress Gargoyle, I just don't like that in this deck at all. I don't know, I just don't like it. I know it's a good card for 2 mana, but it's lots of stipulations. Take out the 3 of them. And let's add in one of the most hated cards in Standard, of course, Ruin Crap, because it's just mills and it just works so well with DIMIR Rogues. It's disgusting. We're going to add 3 of them in. I'm surprised that 3 of these was actually $2.70. I thought they were going to be cheaper, but wow, that's expensive for this deck. Straight out as well, Malakar Rebirth, Blackborn Rogue is going to come out, and we're going to take out one of the Merfolk Wind Robbers. I don't think we really need 4 of them. A couple of Eliminate coming out because we're changing the deck a little bit. Also, we're taking out the Dismal, the land, the Bagwater. We're going to upgrade our lands, and we're going to take out, the final card we're taking out is one of the Zareths, because we got 3, I think, legendary. I think as for a 5 mana legendary, 2 is fine with that, and I'm going to add in an extra win com for it. So, like I mentioned, Vantress gone, replace Ruin Crab straight in there. Turn 1 play does so much work, and literally 2 of them can win a game on their own. No lie, they really can. Big card draw being added in, 4 of Into the Story, potentially costing 4 mana. Brilliant. It just gets DIMIR Rogues straight back into the game, and I'm really surprised that this was not in the deck, to be honest, to start off with. I felt like it really could have been in there. Very strange. The Vantress Gargoyle, I would have preferred Into the Story in there myself and just have that as the planeswalk, not even the Ruin Crab. But yeah, Into the Story straight in there. Get the card draw is what we need. Next edition, 2 LOL Mages Domination. Because stealing stuff is fun, and it really does help, and I've played against that card, and wow, it's annoying, isn't it? And it just takes your stuff, and then you just beats you down with it. So I think for the price of it, like I think they're 25 cents each, it just seems like a auto-include, and I obviously swap the Eliminates out for them. Upgrading the lands. Now this is the expensive upgrade because the deck was pretty cool as it was. It didn't need much changing. But Dismal Backwater can go out, and we can add in like the clear water pathways. 4 of them, $16. Just makes the deck better. It really does. We've already got tap lands with Temple of Deceit. We don't want tap lands even more with Dismal. So that just seems like the perfect upgrade for that as well. Thought about, possibly changing it for the Fabled Passage, but Fabled Passage is still very dear. I think $7 or $8. So that would be, smashing the budget straight out. And like I said, we dropped 1 Zareth and I replaced it with an Ashiok Nightmare. $4. I mean, what a card for $4. It can win games. It's just on theme with the deck. It puts down those 2/3 and it does a bit of milling by itself as well. It can return permanent. It's just a really, really good Planeswalker. And I think still keeping the Zareth theme there with that as well. Just, tucking it down to 3, down to 2, and then adding Ashiok for that extra win com. So the last deck we look at, and I felt this did need a bit of a change, it's the mono green Stompy deck. Interestingly, this is one of the lower types of upgrades. It's $22.40. It did need a bit of change, but stuff wasn't majorly expensive. There was some stuff that we needed to add in. There's a couple of expensive cards. But I felt like this did need a bit of a shake-up. So let's have a look at what we're taking out first. So we're taking out the couple of Sin Farron. It's nice, it's okay, it's just not really aggressive enough for me. Wildborn Preserver was a tough one for me. I took it out, it's got reach, it's flash, I like it. But gets better when you chuck something else in there, and I think that's just better personally in sort of, a flash deck. Brontodon, taking the 3 of our Brontodon for me is mainly a sideboard card, so I would chuck that more in the sideboard. You don't need 3 of these in the main. It's a nice 3/4 beta, but as we know, Thrashing Brontodon usually comes in from the sideboard. Taking out Kalni Albush from the sideboard we're going to swap that out there. We're just going to add in some actual raw power in the sideboard that could quite easily be in the main, but we're going to put it into the sideboard. So the last card we're also taking out is the 4 of Wildwood as well. I feel like Wildwood is a cool card, comes in, but I just feel like Swarm Shambler's good, and you know, the other cards I'm going to add in as well are just going to be slightly better for this and can do a lot more work than that. I think it's a very good budget card for like mono green decks, but for me it just, you know, it's not going to make it into this type of version. So what are we adding in? Well, we're adding in that extra Swarm Shambler. Like I said, but get rid of the Wildwood. This is just a really good card. It comes with 3, so we're just going to add the extra 1 of this in there. 0/0 enters with a 1/1 counter. We can, you know, put counters on it, and it's just a really good, you know, good card that can just build armies up. Stonecool Serpent was one of the expensive cards in there, and we're going to add in an extra 2 of these because it's sweet. It's got reach, it's got trample, protection from multicolored. Ends about for all the X1/1 counters. Can be great early play, can be great late play. So we're going to have this in there. It's $8 for the 2, but I feel like it's a, you know, a really good addition. Also adding in a couple of Nessian Hornbeetle, cheap card, but a very sweet card. Beginning of combat, your turn if you control another creature with power 4 or greater, which is very easy in this deck. Put a 1/1 counter on it. So it can get out of control, this Hornbeetle, and I like it. It's a nice budget card, and I think as a 2 of, we can put it in there and it will, you know, definitely do some work. A bit like the next edition. 4 of these straight in there, very cheap card, like 50 cents each. So for $2, we're having 4 of these in there. Fits in the mono green deck because it's triple green. Old Growth Troll. I remember back in the day we had Steelleaf Champion as a triple green 5/4 that did hell of a work. Not sure if this is as good as this, but it's still good. So when it dies, if it was a creature returned to the battlefield as an aura, Enchant Forest has double green, add, pay 1, sacrifice, create a tap 4/4 with trample. It does a lot of stuff for this 3 mana, and it's not even legendary either, so we can chuck this in there as a 4 and have multiples of them on the field. Next to Angostura Bitter's Armoured Killer, the Gem Raiser. Just good card. Add that in there. Cheap upgrade, $1.50, which is really cool. A lot of the money has gone into Vivian. 1 of Vivian. It's nice. It's a 5 mana Planeswalker. Helps us, you know, with the card draw aspect. We get to look at the top card of our library anytime, and we may cast creature spells from the top of our library. We've swapped around, you know, some creatures, and it just, you know, we've not gone down in creatures. I feel this would be really good. We can +1, add a beast, helps us with the reach, helps us with vigilance, and put a trample counter, whatever we want. So if we're struggling against the flyers, we got obviously Stonecool Serpent now that can help with that, and we've also now got Vivian, which, you know, Wildwood Preserver was a little help towards the flyers, this can help us as well and makes a 3/3. And the -2 as well is a pretty sweet. Whenever you cast your next creature spell turn, search your life for a creature with lesser coveted mana cost, put it onto the battlefield. And we've added in some lower costs, you know, play your Old Growth Troll, maybe then go and get your Nessian Hornbeetle or a Swarm. It, you know, seems decent to me. The additions to the sideboard. Like I said, Kalini's out, and I'm adding in a big ape. This is a sweet card, cheap card, $2 for the 2 of them. Kogla Ape, the Titan Ape, enters the battle, fights target creature. When it attacks, destroy target artifact or enchantment as well. This does a lot. Could easily slot straight into the main board, but this just means from the sideboard, instead of a fight effect, we're changing it to add in a, you know, quite a bit more power in the big legendary ape swing there. I think it's a really cool card. I love the art in it as well. I just love that. So all in all, $22.40 to make this deck a lot better for me. And I think, you know, by adding the Stonecalls and, you know, powering a 3-drop, a 4/4 like the Old Growth Troll is going to be good. Wincons extra, Vivian, and coming in from the sideboard with Kogla, it's just going to make this deck a lot stronger because I did feel like it was missing something, you know. Couldn't add in the Great Henge at all in the upgrade, not for $25, not unless you just want that there and nothing else. And would it do much? You know, it probably wouldn't. But this is what you can get. You can get a lot more for your money by adding those sorts in and hopefully, you know, get some wins with your new Stompy deck. So this was some upgrade ideas, $25 for each of them. They come out, I think it's March the 26th. Now, a lot of people are talking about, you know, oh, you only get 8 months to play them. But 8 months is still a long time. And you're going to get some cool cards that you can potentially move into Commander decks as well. You know, 8 months play. We are in, obviously, the dreaded lockdown. But you could play these with your friends over spell table. You could do anything. Maybe some of your FNMs are open. You know, it's not over here where I am, but you know, it's different parts of the world, and hopefully, you know, you're still going to be interested in buying these decks because value for money, I think they're pretty sweet. You know, you get some cool cards in them, and this means you now can upgrade them and make them more competitive, and you know, battle with your friends and hopefully take down maybe a competition. You never know. You know, I'm talking like an FNM, not like a GP, but you're just going to have fun with it. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video and found it helpful today, please give the video a thumbs up, or if you just like me and my channel, just give the video a thumbs up because it helps with that YouTube algorithm. Get your juice. Subscribe if you're new. Big shout out to my Patreons. Thank you very much for all your extra support. You lot take care, and I'll see you on the next video.